Out on the open field here on a Wednesday edition, Hunt and Hill. Out to the phone lines we go. Jason Kelly, LSU first-year pitching coach, joins us. Coach, how are you? Thanks for your time.
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You ready to go right now, or do we still need...
We'll see how today's practice goes. I'll let you know.
Well answered. Coach Johnson's been doing kind of the media tour. He's spoken around town and on our airwaves, certainly, and talk about, there's some guys y'all want to stretch out. There are some guys that y'all want to maybe look at as bullpen guys. Right now, are you communicating what you think an in-season role could be to these guys, or is it simply, hey, come to work and let's pitch?
Yeah, there's been communication. I haven't sat down with everybody and said, hey, you're going to pitch Friday, you're going to pitch Saturday, you're going to pitch Sunday. But if you're paying attention, they can see when they've been throwing the last 2 weeks. So I think they're starting to assume what we're doing is we're loading up both teams. So we've got a starter on each team in an inter squad, and those guys are going 5 innings. Saturday, same deal. Sunday, same deal. So in theory, we can have 6 guys that are going to be prepared to throw 5 or 6 innings on opening weekend. So we're going to have a starter. Obviously, we got to have a guy to throw the first pitch of the game, but we're also going to have somebody available right behind him to either clean up because he doesn't get out of the third, which happens early in the season. You got somebody that you can go to give you 4 or 5 innings. And then we've got La Tech on Wednesday, and then we've got 5 games next weekend. So it's a long-term view for us right now.
When someone's in a certain spot for as long as Paul Maneri and Alan Dunn were here, you understand how they're going to approach things, and they were very consistent in terms of the first 3-4 weeks of the season. They had pretty strict pitch counts around 50, 55 for the first weekend, built it to 60, 65, 70, and they weren't full go to give you 7 or so innings until probably week 4 or 5 of the season. How do you approach kind of guys that you think are going to be started and maybe stretched out in terms of pitch counts early in the season?
Yeah, it's the same as I'm sure they did it, and everybody does it. We if those are the numbers that they used, we're a little bit ahead of that.
Yeah.
Our starters got to 65 last week. They'll probably get to between 65 and 75 this week. So you're looking at probably 5 innings, depending on how it goes. So, yeah, I think everybody does it the same. So they're going to be ready to hopefully get us 15 outs throughout the weekend.
Chatting with Jason Kelly, LSU pitching coach, Tigers at the box for the opener a week from Friday. Coach, I got a chance to look at Blake Money this weekend and was really, really impressed. The fastball had a lot of velocity to it. Obviously, we've seen him slim down his body, and he, I thought, looked good on Saturday. Your impressions of Blake Money now in his second year here in Baton Rouge?
I mean, it's a totally different person, player, pitcher that I watched on video when I got the job in July. He's not even close to the same kid. Like you said, he's really gotten himself in great shape. I think he's down 45 pounds from when he left campus last year. He's really commanding the ball. The velocity has always been there. It's just kind of where it's going and having command of it, and that has gotten a ton better. The breaking ball's better. The changeup is an above-average pitch. Really confident right now. So he's been one of the guys that since we've gotten back in January has really made a big jump. And I think what you saw over the weekend, Tiger fans are going to see a lot of it.
Talk about the process with guys on the pitching staff. I'm knowing guys have their certain amount of pitches that they like to throw, but if they want to add a pitch to their repertoire, is that something that you guys discuss, or you guys kind of just let them work on that on their own?
No, that's something that I have my hands in every day. It's one of the strengths of my teaching is being able to help guys develop a new pitch in the repertoire. And I think when you go down our pitching staff, almost every guy has added something, maybe a little bit of sink, maybe a little bit of cut. The changeup is a big pitch for guys in my program. We've seen guys make a huge jump with that pitch. So it's every day. We talked about this with the staff the day, maybe Friday. It was, hey, just because February 18th is showing up doesn't mean we're done working. Like, we got to continue to get better every single day. And our guys, to their credit, have really bought into that, and they're running with it. So ultimately, I help them, but it's about them every day kind of wearing down that process of getting better with that pitch.
LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly is our guest here on Hunt and Hill. Coach, I opened things up a little bit to my Twitter followers to throw some questions in, so I'll get to a couple of those here. Look, this is common practice just about anywhere, but the guy who lights the radar gun up the highest people want to know about. So what have you seen from Eric Grazelman over the last few weeks here as y'all approach the season?
He's been good. He's made some strides repertoire-wise. The slider has really tightened up and become kind of a power slider. I would call it a little more of a slurve when he got here. The changeup has developed to be a very usable third pitch, and he throws 98. So you like those combinations. He's going to be at the end of the bullpen. I'm not going to say he's going to close every game, but he's going to be at the end and be a huge weapon for us back there.
Mikhail Hilliard said last year, and Paul Mainieri echoed this, and he echoed it, and then you saw at the end of the season when he came on and really helped that team and was part of the reason they advanced as far as they did. He's just more comfortable starting games. Is that a discussion you've had with him, and what have you seen from him?
He has made that well known to me,
yep.
And we've talked about it. And Mikhail's an interesting pitcher when you look at him, because in practice and in the bullpens, there's nothing that really blows you away. You don't walk away from that going, holy cow, this is a guy that's going to be dominant in this conference. But then you put him in the game, and then you look up at his line, and you're like, gosh, guy went 6 innings, struck out 6, walked 1, gave up 4 hits, and you're really impressed with what he did. So he's in the mix for that starting spot on Saturday or Sunday. And I expect him, as you guys have seen over the years, when the lights turn on, you get a really, really good competitive SEC caliber pitcher. And I'm excited to see him kind of kick it into that next gear that everyone keeps talking about. But he's been really good since the break. He added a changeup, which is something he hasn't thrown a lot of. He's got a natural cutter, so the ball's moving both ways for him. And everybody knows about that good down curveball that he's got. So his repertoire is taking the next step, and he's going to have a ton of success, I think, as well. Chatting
with LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly. Coach, a couple more coming from Twitter. I know every situation is different and every pitcher is different, but in general, what's your demeanor like when you go to the mound, assuming it will be you going out there to calm pitchers down and to go over game plans and whatnot? Are you an intense guy that says, let's bear down and get this thing, or are you more of a supportive guy?
You've got to know the pitcher. You've got to know what makes him click, what makes him nervous, what stresses him out, what kind of raises his level of intensity. So everybody's a little bit different. I think I've got a good feel for what everybody needs to be motivated. So I can do anything. There's very few times, I think, where it's a frustrating mound visit where I'm chewing into him a little bit. That's not usually the case. It's usually bringing them up and letting them know that have a ton of confidence. You've been here before. Your stuff is great. Here's just what we have to do. Let's simplify it. Let's do this, and then leave with some confidence. And a lot of times it starts with a joke, starts with something funny, just to kind of ease the tension a little bit. And so you just have to have a feel for your guys. But I'm not going to go out there and chew very much. It's all about getting the next guy out.
Big picture deal here. Over the last 5, 10, 12 years of baseball, arm injuries for pitchers have become really, really prevalent, and for whatever reason. What's your philosophy on trying to keep guys healthy? What has worked for you in your career?
That's an interesting thing. I mean, everybody wants to stay healthy, and that's the ultimate goal. But sometimes it's something that's hard to predict, and especially with the throwers, it's just something that sometimes happens to guys. We've done a good job. Corey, our trainer, is incredible, and in the maintenance part of it, we've got a system that we use that they check in on every day. It measures shoulder strength, it measures all the rotational strength, and kind of a bunch of data points that kind of allows us to pull up that data and say, hey, here's how his throwing program needs to go. He needs an off day here. He needs an off day here. So it's a maintenance program that's really helped us, instead of doing like we've done in the past, which is not guessing, but you're trying to make a program for 20 guys. So not everybody's going to fit perfectly in there. This is allowing us to do it each individual and making sure that they stay healthy. Now, whether or not that happens, it's not a foolproof plan by any means. You want to manage pitch counts. Mechanics is a huge part of it. and kids have thrown more when they get to college than ever. I mean, you've got guys on this team, on every team in the nation, that are working on 500 innings by the age of 18, which is incredibly unusual. But it's part of the game now and part of what we have to deal with.
With the season fast approaching around the corner, is there a guy when you first got on this staff that has really made some gains and really wowed you? Like, man, this guy has gotten so much better since we kind of took over this coaching staff.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think Blake Money, as I talked about, has done that, no question. Ty Floyd has really done a good job kind of developing the pitch repertoire and really focusing on what's going to help make him successful in commanding the fastball. He's just the hardest worker and a great kid. And I've seen a huge jump from him. And Will Helmers has been great. I mean, he's steady. He's somebody that you overlook at times because the velocity is not 97, and the curveball is not this huge breaker. But he gets in and out of every inning. He throws a ton of strikes. Those two guys are the two guys, when I watched on tape in July, I was really interested to get my eyes on them in person, and they've been really, really good. So I think those two are going to be huge parts in this thing as well.
LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly, our guest. Coach, we really appreciate some time. Y'all get out there, get to work. We'll see you at the box in 9 days for the opener.
You got it, guys. I appreciate you guys, and keep covering baseball, and go Tigers.
You don't have to worry about that. LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. See you next time.